Bong Joon Ho is finally back. It's been a long time, man. Haven't seen you since Parasite. Best Picture, you may have heard of it. 2020, a really long time ago. Different world back then. If you aren't familiar with Bong Joon Ho, besides Parasite, he made Memories of Murder, Host, Okja, lots of great Korean films, and lots of okay-ish American films. We'll get into that. If I had to rank his films, I'd probably legitimately go his Korean films, then his American films down here. It's just a personal preference thing. They're all fantastic movies. He's definitely one of the top 5 greatest working directors today, and he's gonna have a long-lasting legacy. You could argue that Parasite winning Best Picture was one of the most industry-defining moments of the last decade. He came home with 3 Oscars that night, and it really couldn't have happened to a better person. So I got really excited about 2 years ago when it got announced that he's doing a new movie with Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson's definitely one of the greatest actors working today, and it's Bong Joon Ho. And it's a clone movie. We're gonna have multiple Robert Pattinsons. An actor's dream, right? As time went on, the film just kept getting pushed back and pushed forward and then pushed back and then pushed forward again. Every move that was made for this movie showed that the distributor and the studios really did not like this movie. They didn't really think it had a chance, which is crazy because it's the long-awaited movie from the Best Picture winner of the biggest Best Picture winner of the last decade. I don't know why I believed in a studio over Bong Joon Ho. This thing absolutely rips. I can legitimately say this film shattered my expectations. Let's get into it. Mickey 17 is a sci-fi film from the Korean director Bong Joon Ho. Fresh off his 3 Oscars, he has decided to make another English film. Mickey Barnes is played by Robert Pattinson, who decides to leave Earth due to class struggle reasons. Lots of people are trying to escape to different planets. The conditions on Earth have gotten so bad. He decides to sign up for the expendable program. A procedure is done where he can die an infinite amount of times. He finds love, he works for an evil fascist, he finds himself literally next to himself in bed, and that's the premise of the movie. I want to start out this review with a little perspective. Ever since David Lynch died, I started to realize that films really need love at the center of it. A lot of films that aren't great don't have fantastic love and romance elements. I'm not saying every film needs to be a romance, but there needs to be some sort of love at the center of it. I can proudly say this movie has love all over the place. It radiates. Mickey must learn to love all the bad and good parts of himself. He is able to overcome, and he's also strengthened by the love he receives by Naomi Ackel's character, the fierce love interest. I'll admit it, I shed a few tears here and there. In fact, when I was walking out of the movie, I was still kind of teary-eyed. Made sure I was looking away from the people still sitting down. It got me, okay? I was shocked by this movie. What's also the heart of this film is what Bong Joon Ho does the best. Class struggle. When you think about class divide and class struggles, what's the film you think about in the last 20 years? It's Parasite. So yeah, when I think about class struggle, the perspectives on the rich that I really love to watch in films, it usually comes from Bong Joon Ho. This film is the repercussions of late-stage capitalism and being ran by a fascist that's played by Mark Ruffalo, who's basically just Trump. He does the hand gesture thing sometimes, but also he could be other people too. Fascist dictators typically are not that different from each other. I mean, it could just be the Korean leader that declared martial law just for a bit, you know? He was just bored and lonely. Bong Joon Ho has always been a master of mixing drama and comedy. I mean, come on, I remember exactly how much I laughed at Parasite when he pulls up the bloody napkin. Now, I don't think there's a moment as funny as that in this film, but it is a very consistently funny movie. It's a very charming movie. So there are these really cute creatures on this new planet that they decide to colonize. The first thought of the wife of Mark Ruffalo, played by Toni Collette, who's also fantastic in this movie, is to make sauce out of their tails. Sauce is a very common motif in this film, and so is food. She mostly just wants to make sauce out of these creatures because they are deemed rare now. People on Earth could never have that sauce that she made. She even claims the ultimate compliment her sauce could receive is from a poor person. Someone with such an unrefined palate could like my sauce, then it's awesome. He's used food before. It's a very powerful motif when it comes to class divide. Think about the food that the people eat in Parasite. It's also a bit of a commentary on white supremacy. I mean, there's one statement from Mark Ruffalo that I kind of forgot, but it had me dying. Okay, it's super funny. He was asked about his vision for the colony, right? He gives a sentence, and 2 of the 3 words is just white supremacy, but kind of layered. I know what you're doing, Bong. I clocked you. This film's about a rich fat cat that's a clown, tries to take over a colony without listening to science, spreads misinformation for his cause, and ignores any truths given to him. Yeah, I'm kind of sorry, I'm just explaining American politics now. That's not my fault. It's really gonna be hard for people not to see American politics in this movie, but I promise you, this is just typically how fascist colonies are. At the heart of this film is still Robert Pattinson, the one and only. With clone movies, what I look for at least is what makes them different. In this film, one's confident, he's kind of a dick. The other one's super uncoordinated, he's really unsure of himself. But as the movie makes super clear to you, this is all the same person. And this movie really teaches you to love all the bad and good from you. And thankfully, Robert Pattinson is able to capture all this so well. Steven Yeun is also a really nice touch to this film. He's very funny. His character is nice to show that like what poor people would do to try to get out of being poor. He owes a lot of money to a loan shark, sells drugs. Can't blame a man for trying to get out of the struggle, man. Bong just makes super rad stuff, man. The production design is beautiful. I love the snowy atmosphere that we're in. I love these cute little creatures that could destroy the human race if they wanted to. You know, with Bong, you're in really good hands. I would have to say this is my favorite English film from Bong Joon Ho. As soon as I walked out of this movie, I was like, that's a 9, dude. That was a banger. Shattered my expectations, but just let me know what y'all thought about this movie. Please go out and see it. I don't want this movie to bomb. Don't let the studios be right. I'll see y'all later.